Hi Stitchers, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Stitching with Nicole. It is Sunday, April 13th, 2025. Welcome to my weekly stitching update where I talk about all the things that I have been stitching, whether it is cross stitch, felt stitching, or quilting. This is my series here on my YouTube channel where we talk about all of that good stuff. Probably the majority of it is going to be cross-stitch themed. However, I do love lots of stitching hobbies, so you're going to see a little bit of all of that here at times on my channel. This week I have 4 FFOs to share with you guys. I have an almost finish on a giant project that has been going for quite some time. We're going to talk all about that. I'll talk about what I've stitched this week. I've got some giveaway winners plus some new giveaways and some other fun things just to chat about, plus an upcoming sale. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stay tuned. Welcome everyone back to another stitching update. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am so glad you're here, and I just want to say a big thank you to all of my returning subscribers. Thank you guys for making this such a fun space to share about what we all love, which is stitching. I have quite a few new subscribers, so I just want to say a big welcome to all of you. And again, just thank you guys. It is a joy to come here and talk about something that I'm passionate about every week. Or almost every week, I guess I should say. Couple of notes before we dive into today's episode. I do try to put any links to things that I talk about during my video, whether it's charts, fabric, specialty items, other things. I do try to link those down below if I have a link available for those. Sometimes the description does get a little too long. YouTube does limit. They give you a lot of room, but I like to write a lot of things. So if the description box runs out of room, I always put in the description continued in the comments. That is going to be the first pinned comment in the comments section. So sometimes there will be a few additional things there. So if you're looking for it, definitely check there. If I've missed something, feel free to reach out. The other thing, I like to put timestamps down in the description below. That is going to help you jump to certain sections. So if you're ever needing to go back and look for something, or you're wanting to go see if you were a winner of a giveaway, or if there's like a little mini tutorial somewhere in the video, you can always click on or check those timestamps, click on that, and it'll take you right to that point in the video. One other thing I want to mention before we dive into this week's episode is that I have a Stitching with Nicole email newsletter that I have gone back to sending out approximately once a week. So click the link down in the description, sign up for my newsletter. Something fun that I like to do for my newsletter subscribers is I like to give you a little sneaky peek, usually of an FFO or something similar. Sometimes I find other fun little information and tidbits that I like to include in the newsletter. But one of my FFOs I'm going to share with you today, my newsletter subscribers have already seen. I have not shared it on social media anywhere else, and it's just something, a little perk that I do for my newsletter subscribers. The other thing I shared last week, which it's not really pertinent right now, is that a Center Street Quilt is a quilt pattern designer, and she had a free, or she was offering her little Easter basket fabric project, the pattern free through like last Sunday. And I sent that out in the newsletter to people because I had found that information and I thought, well, that's something really good that you guys might like to know. So my newsletter's full of things like that. I also include links to my favorite stuffing products at times, or, I'll include like how I store my fabric, my cross stitch fabric, just general things I like to include in there. I know I've shared a lot of it here on Flosstube, but there are times where I just try to include some extra content and information in my email newsletter, so sign up if you haven't already. I also have a Facebook group. Check it out. It is a wonderful community of stitchers. You may find your new stitching bestie in that group. It is a wonderful group full of lots of inspiration. Plus, I do share a lot of additional information in there. Like when I have stitch alongs and things going on, I will put it there. But I do have a newsletter, and that information will always be in that email newsletter as well. If you are not a Facebook person, totally get it. That's why I have an email newsletter. I have lots of ways to find all of the information. Now, Facebook does not get the sneak peeks of upcoming FFOs or anything like that. Those things are only found in my email newsletter. Okay, let's jump in to this week's episode. FFOs. If you are not familiar with the term FFO, FFO stands for fully finished object, and it's been a journey. So in January, I did a blessing sampler, and it was my first time doing a blessing sampler. I picked Americana Blue by October House Fiber Arts. I managed to stitch it all in January. I was excited. I finished it. I took it. Well, I finished it, and then I struggled. Where do I go get it framed? I wasn't sure. I ended up going to Hobby Lobby. I was so disappointed. Now, I'm going to give a little caveat to this. Some Hobby Lobbies are fabulous because it's not Hobby Lobby. It is the framer who works at Hobby Lobby. It is their familiarity with stitching, with needlework. It is how that framer frames. So some framers are excellent. Some, like the one that I went to here, not great. I only tried one of the two, or we have 3 Hobby Lobbies actually in the area I live in. I went to only one of them, and I can't really give my pieces to that many Hobby Lobbies. And I thought I'll just frame it myself. I'm not going to go into detail about how bad it was or anything. I mean, I'm sure you get the gist. But what I found, my friend Lori had seen on social media that I believe Red Barn Samplers gets her pieces framed at this shop called The Frame Shop in Wichita, Kansas. And we thought, on a whim, she had something she wanted to get framed. I wanted to get Americana Blue framed. So we ran over there one day. It sounded like he knew what he was talking about. So he was very good at helping pick out frames. Dropped it off. It was done really fast, like days before it was supposed to be the, to be done date. So I went and picked it up, and here is my piece. So here is Americana Blue. It's kind of this really fun rusticy blue frame that I think sets off the blue stitching perfectly. It is my first framed piece since I've come back to stitching. And you might be thinking, but Nicole, we know that you have many other big pieces or pieces you said you were going to get framed. We'll chat about that in just a bit. But I did get this framed. Now, I will say one thing, and I think I didn't really realize it till I got home, so my other pieces are probably going to have this border too. I think I might have liked the border a little bit tighter to the stitching. It's not enough. I'm not going to redo it. I love it. I think it's fine. But I did pick the same 1-inch border, which, there's like a 1/4 of an inch that you have to take into account for the matting and everything, or not matting, but I don't know what all the technical terms are. Anywho, I think I would like it a little bit tighter. It's okay. This is okay. I don't care. It looks beautiful. I'm very, very happy. It's nice and straight. Hobby Lobby's was not. But my friend Steve at the frame shop did a fabulous job. And I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's straight. It's beautiful. It's already hanging on my wall. I'll show you the back. Comes with the little hardware back here. It's just very, very beautifully done. Has the little rubber stoppers down here as well, so it doesn't like, bang up your wall. But here it is. I could not be happier, and I was so excited, and I just had that good feeling in my heart. I did not at Hobby Lobby. I tried, but I just knew. You know how you just know sometimes? I knew it was going to be great. So when I went to pick this up, because it is a little bit of a drive for me, it's not actually close to on my side of town. And so I went ahead and picked 3 other pieces that I needed to get framed. One was a celebration. Is it a celebration of seasons? It's the hands-on design big piece I did. Kind of when I came back to stitching, it's on like 25 count Lugana, which totally would not stitch on that now, but it's part of my stitching story, and it looks so pretty, you guys. I took the Cherry Hill Stitchery Hot Cocoa Bar piece. And if I have I'm sure I have photos of the finishes of these. I'm going to just pop them up as I'm talking about them. And I also took the Annie B's Folk Art, is it Americana House? I finished it last year. It was a stitch along I did with Chantal of 141 Design and Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher. And I dropped those off. The frames he helped me pick out, I'm thrilled. So hopefully, I don't think I'll have them by my next Stitching with Nichol, maybe. I don't know. But I should have those within a couple weeks to share with you guys. So I'll have 4 total framed pieces. I'm thrilled with it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love how it turned out. And it's just, I don't know. I didn't know how I would feel about it because I do a lot of finishing. But having a framed finish of a big piece like this does feel very, very good. I'm super excited. And now I'm ready to, any of my things that I know I will get framed, I'm really eager to get them finished stitching and get them framed. Okay, so I also have 3 more FFOs. First up, I did share this on social media, so you may have seen this if you follow me on Instagram. This is the Scattered Seed Samplers Cottontail & Co. I did finish it into a pillow. Here is the back. And I did a new to me trim for my pillow, which is just kind of gathering up, not really even gathering, but kind of twisting and tacking down ribbon along the edge here. It's messy. I'm here for it. It does connect down here, believe it or not. I did, and this is where my opening for my pillow is, that I did a little ladder stitch shut. It is stuffed with wool roving. I love it. Let me flip the camera around so we can look at it maybe a little bit closer. I stitched this, and again, this is the Scattered Seed Samplers Cottontail & Company, and this is a 2022 pattern, right? Yes, it is. I actually picked this up at the Silver Needle in Tulsa, Oklahoma when I was there on December 31st with my friends Karen and Lori, and I kitted it up there, but I did pick out my fabric at home, which is 36 count Treasure Map by Color and Cotton. And I want this fabric in a couple more counts, I think, or want more of it. I love Treasure Map. In fact, I have decided I am going to restitch. Do you guys remember Goodness Gracious from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and how I do not like, I think it's a Be Stitch Me fabric, but it doesn't look like the model. The fabric I got is super dark, super mottled. I don't think the stitching shows up good. We kind of decided during my whip parade that I need to restart that on something else. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Treasure Map because I think it will look beautiful. I have plenty left. I only stitched this little thing here. So just kind of a fun fact. I love Treasure Map. Color and Cotton. We need more Treasure Map. Maybe they have it and I just need to go look. So what I love is this is kind of a non-traditional as far as it's not, you know, pastels for Easter, and I'm here for it. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just love it so much. There are stitches you love when they're finished, when they are finished, and maybe you love it all the way through, whatever the case may be. And then there's stitches that when you're finished, you're like, this is so amazing, but oh my gosh, I'm so glad it's done, right? This was one that I enjoyed every single stitch on it, even the fill-in of the bunny and the fill-in of the grass. I just stitched this right up. I loved every single stitch on this one. I just love him. I think he's so cute. And I do love the wool roving. When I'm done stuffing it, couple things. I put a very, very lightweight interfacing on the stitching. I also have found that I like it on the fabric because I think it gives my pillow more structure. But I fill mine with wool roving, and when I'm done, on the back, I press with my iron, and I press pretty heavy and hard because the wool roving, unlike polyester fiber fill, is not really, I'm not worried that it's going to melt into my fabrics or anything like that. They are protected, of course, with the interfacing, but I like to kind of give it that nice final press to make it nice and smushed. So it's kind of a flat-ish, nice, tight stuffed pillow. But this is Cottontail and Company by Scattered Seed Samplers, and I just love it. I love that I was able to get several Easter FFOs done this year, and I have 2 more. So next up, Maggie May. She is done. This is my first animal cracker, will not be my last. I've seen so many of you guys talking all about animal crackers, how much you love them, how addictive they are. It's true. I loved stitching her. I stitched her part of Tara Sullivan Sully Stitches Stand Up Bowl, which was just kind of a fun take on the Super Bowl where you stitched a stand up. And so I picked Maggie May from Stacy Nash. And let's just flip the camera. And I'll talk about how I finished her. So here is the pattern. I decided, I've been back and forth whether I was going to do the little radish needle book. For now, I decided, I went ahead and put my floss away. I've decided I'm not stitching it. I'm not really using mine as a scissor holder. I didn't put the pocket on here for a scissor holder. So, and I don't really need the needle book. So that being said, I'm basically just stitching her as a decor piece, not, you know, anything else. So couple of notes. First of all, stitched her up. I stitched all the way around. I cut an opening in my fabric and flipped her out. And then I took a heart die. This one is from Lawn Fawn. I die cut it out of felt, so it's a perfect kind of primitive style heart. And then I hand stitched it. Well, I actually did a little ladder stitch in my fabric just to close up the back of this, and then I covered that with my felt patch because I feel like that kind of matches the primitive look and feel of the animal crackers. So kind of just a fun little effect. And then the thing I've probably gotten the most questions about, and I did talk about these in when I finished her, are these little teeny tiny mini buttons. I'm going to pop up here on the screen where I got these on Etsy. So if you're interested, check out that Etsy shop, grab some. I actually grabbed lots of them, anticipating that my animal crackers are going to need tiny buttons on their clothing. So, but I love it. I just love her. I think she's so cute, so adorable. She's stuffed with wool roving as well. And that is my full finish number 3 for this week. And of course, she's perfect for Easter. I have her out in my Easter decor right now, but she's going to stay up, you know, somewhere all the time. She can adorn, like if you have a stitching box or a stitchy spot, or if you decorate your craft room. Just adorable. Oh, I love her. Okay, my final FFO this week, and I think I put the pattern away. This was in my last newsletter. I shared my FFO of Grandma's Candy Dish by With Thy Needle and Thread. I did show my stitching. I think I showed my finish minus the beads last week, or did I have the beads on? I can't remember. But I stitched this so fast too. This was a design that came out in 2024. Love this. And it was stitched on more of a neutral fabric. But I saw Sandy of Whispered Stitches on Instagram stitch hers on a lilac or lavender fabric, and I was so inspired that I immediately went to my stash and pulled 36 count purple coneflower from Color and Cotton, and I stitched this with all of the called for floss on that 36 count, and I just love it. I did add the little beads. I found the called for at Hobby Lobby. And then I did add, it might be not the nicest right down here, but it sits like this. This is Lori Holt fabric on the back. Again, lightweight interfacing on my stitching and my fabric. I left it open down here, ladder stitched it shut, and then I did hand stitch on. Let me see if I can get that too. There you can see. I did hand stitch on the white vintage trim rickrack from Lori Holt around the edge, and it's just super sweet and pretty, and I'm so excited to have this to display this season. This bunny's face is so, so cute. I wanted to stitch one more of these, one for my daughter, but I think I'll go ahead and do that for next year because I think she'd love this too. But that is Grandma's Candy Dish by With Thy Needle and Thread. So try as I might, I do not have a finish this week. I tried really, really hard, but I'm so close, and I will have a finish to share with you guys next week, and it's a big one. I wanted to have this done, and I will, before my framed pieces are done at the framer, because when I go pick those up, I'm dropping this off. And you guys, let me grab it. I've only worked on 2 things this week. And I had started on it. I was working on one of my Easter whips, and I don't know, the mood struck, probably because I dropped my things off or went and picked my piece up and dropped those other things off at the framer. But my Moment in Chalk squared piece from Hands On Design, all of the months are done. And you can see the border is about done, but you see that nice little gap? I ran out of Gentle Arts chalk. Shouldn't have. I'm going to show you close up of this. I shouldn't have run out, but I had to do a little froggy frog yesterday. I had to do a lot of froggy frog yesterday and was really ticked at myself. I'm stitching this on 32 count charcoal gray Lugana from Zweigart. I hate this fabric. That's probably too harsh of a word to say. And I know I said last week, if I was starting this project now, I definitely would have just used the called for. But when I started this project, I wasn't there yet. I just wasn't. I had the called for fabric. We talked about it. We've talked about it. You guys know. Let me flip the camera around. However, too far in to switch now. And I do know that when this is framed, it's going to be gorgeous. And I am going to be so glad that I persevered. This is my longest whip. This is the piece that pulled me back in to cross stitch. And Kathy has been cheerleading me on. So thank you, Kathy, because I am just, you guys, I know where I'm going to hang this in my house. I am so excited. It's colorful. It's bold. It has buttons on it. It's like all the things that I love. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to zoom back out now. Let's talk a little bit about this. It is giant. My die cut machine arm is going to be in the way. It is giant, and I'm here for it. So, you can see I did start adding my buttons. Because it is Lugana, here's the one great thing about the Lugana. The Lugana just doesn't wrinkle. Not like linen. So I've decided that even though we need to finish stitching right here, this is not where I pulled out, by the way. This is just what didn't get, where I ran out was right here. Because it's Lugana, I decided to start adding the buttons. So when I left this last, I was having to pull this out and recenter it. I don't know why I was having an issue. If you just follow the directions, as in most things in life, it works out. So just whatever. I had to pull this out. I had almost the circular wreath-shaped stitch. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. Had to rip it all out. And I stitched all of that. So that's one of the things I did this week. I had to stitch this. That was fine because I learned my lesson. I mean, I had to get all the way to November before I learned my lesson about how to center these. You guys, I can't even make that up. So I stitched both of these. And I believe as far as border goes, I was like, oh, I got some fuzzies from my frogging. I had gotten over here and maybe started a little bit, but what happened was I ended up stitching down like this, and then I decided to move over here and start stitching down this side. I made a mistake. I had shifted one of these lines over the wrong way, and it was obvious. I'll talk about my two mistakes. It was obvious, and the mistake was here. Here? No, it was right here. I had stitched down to here, and I had to rip all of that out. So you can see if I'd not had to rip that out, I probably would have been done with this. So that's delightful. But I fixed it. I stitched all the way down, stitched all the way, came over here, stitchy stitch, and right here, I made a half stitch error. This fabric is hard to stitch on. That's why I say I don't like stitching on it. The holes are super tight on this Lugana for whatever reason. And I made a little boo-boo. And so just this line, and I had stitched all the way to this, was off. And I probably could have fudged it. This line, I was stitching here, and I kept counting. Well, I didn't keep counting enough to make sure that this was the right distance. And I caught it here. And I thought, you know what? That's not going to work for me. So I ripped this whole row out, but because I could tell I was going to be very tight and very close on finishing, I ripped, instead of just, my way of ripping out is I cut all of them and I just yank and get rid of all the little pieces. I literally pulled this out one at a time. I did have to cut it into chunks, but I reused this floss because I was hopeful. I mean, it was foolish, probably. I probably should have just cut it up. But I thought I might still be able to make it over here. Obviously, I wasn't. I stayed up until 2:15 fixing this last night. That was dumb too. But whatever. I ordered more chalk from 123 Stitch. It's already shipped, so thank you 123 Stitch. I think I might be able to finish it before I leave this week, which would be great because I'd kind of like to go drop this off at the framer. So this morning, during my morning stitch time, I put my buttons from Just Another Button Company in here in the center. So we've got a couple little buttons here, the butterfly and a little button here. We have our heart. You don't have to add any of these, but I bought them all at the time. What's funny, okay, so I have a couple of thoughts about this. I purchased this I believe in 2016. It came out in 2016. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't know about it when it was a club. I didn't know who Kathy was. I had not followed cross stitch like for years. I mean, I had stitched back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then I had been a scrapbooker, and I'm a card maker. I'm a full-time card or paper crafting content creator. And I came back to stitching. I mean, I had stitched, did I stitch in between there? Maybe early 2000s is about when I stopped. So when I came back, I had finished something. I'd started on Ada, and then I'd kind of started a little bit, but I bought all the things. And just where my life was at that moment, this was a huge investment for me. And I'm kind of surprised I bought it all. And I didn't start it really. So I'm pretty sure I bought it in 2017 because I bought all of the things. And I don't even remember where I saw all of this. I really don't. I've been racking my mind trying to think, where did I get all of this? Or where did I see this even? Because I don't know. I have no idea. I think it may have been some sort of a cross stitch magazine. I don't know which one. Because I'm pretty sure I remember thinking I used to love cross stitch magazines. Like that was my guilty pleasure. I loved them. I still have some of them down under in the cubby underneath the stairs. My Harry Potter closet is what I call it. And so I'm pretty sure when I came back, I was like, well, I'll just see what the magazines are offering. Girl, you know, paper crafting was already not doing the magazines. Why did I think cross stitch was still doing so many magazines? I know we still have a couple, but it used to be all about them. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I don't know where I saw this. I wish I could remember because I do remember buying it, and I do remember sitting and poring over the buttons and the threads. I had no idea what overdyed threads were. And I bought this dark linen, and I'm like, oh my word, what have I got myself into? But I can do it. I can do it. And I remember trying to start stitching it. And I remember it vividly because I probably only got like 10 stitches in, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I put it all in a bag and I put it away. And then we moved. And when we moved to where we're living now, which, oh my gosh, you guys, that was 2019. So, wow. I already was a huge Fat Quarter Shop fan. I had been for years, but I happened to stumble upon that she was doing lives about floss. Kimberly was doing lives about and calling them Flosstube. And I'm like, cross stitch? Oh, I have stuff to cross stitch. And I finished that American flag from one of the magazines that I have the pillow of that you'll see here, I'm sure, in a few weeks when I get my patriotic stitching out. But it was on Ada, so I stitched that up. I remember finishing stitching that up when we still lived in Dodge City. And then when we got here, I was all in on the cross stitch, and I was starting to get excited, and I cross stitched quietly, but I didn't pull this out. I wasn't here yet. You know what I mean? And then I tried to restart this on the fabric, and I had the called for Gunmetal Weeks Dye Works 32 count fabric, and I couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, why can't I see this? So I got 28 count in like a chalkboard black. And of course it was the Wichita, and I don't like Wichita fabric. And so I was like, no, that's not going to work either. And then I remember, okay, well, let me just cut down this huge piece of Weeks. Well, I cut it wrong. You guys, we know as quilters, right? Measure twice, cut once. Yeah, I didn't. I messed it up, and I was so disgusted. But I really, really, really wanted to start this. So I have started this 3 times. I finally thought, Lugana. I was stitching Lugana at the time. I definitely needed to do the called for count because it includes buttons. And, you know, if you mess with the count of the fabric too much, it's going to look wonky. So I got 32 count charcoal gray Lugana, and I started stitching. And I was able to do the center, and I got the center done. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to be too bad. And then New Year's 2024, I decided to do the white little outline running stitch boxes. It was a nightmare on this fabric, an absolute nightmare. But You guys, I had invested all of that time into this. I had already stitched all of this. And I thought, and I could have cut it down because you can stitch it just as this, or you can stitch these individually. In fact, let me show you those. And I thought, you know what? No, it's not going to win. I'm going to win. It was, at that point, it was like my mission to win. So you do buy everything separately. The Moment in Chalk piece, you can obviously stitch it just like this. It does then come with the border, and just a note to everyone, it's very tiny. I highlighted mine. Sometimes I blew it up on my phone, but mostly I just used a highlighter to help me around here. But it shows you how to do all of this. And then you can purchase the months either individually, or you can stitch them, pardon me, individually. You do purchase them individually. Or you can stitch them as this big piece like I did here. So they're very cute in these little tins as well. But then you purchase the little button packs from Just Another Button Company. So that's my long story of how this piece came to be. But it deserves it because I think this is the biggest thing I've ever stitched. And I'm pretty proud of it, to be honest. So I did start adding my buttons. I got January, February, March, and the center done. I'm going to get all the rest of them done today. When my floss gets here this week, I will finish stitching this. It's just a tiny little bit. This is probably, it probably is 2 hours worth of work, just because you need to be a little careful, but the centering portions are done. I mean, so it's really just kind of coming down here. It's just the little swoopy and then the little swirls. But I couldn't love this more. I'm thrilled, you guys. I'm thrilled I persevered, even though this fabric is not what I would pick now. I would have done the called for, but I'm okay. It's beautiful. It's going to look so good on the wall. And it's part of my stitching story. I'm so happy. So this will be a finish next week. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to take it to the framers. I'm thinking a bold frame. What are you guys thinking? Let me know down in the comments. He's very good at helping pick out, but I have a very definite, I think because we don't want a teeny tiny frame. Sometimes you do on a big piece, but I want this to be like very bold, and I think a nice wide frame will look amazing. And something whitish, like white distressed maybe. I don't know. Maybe I can talk Lori into coming with me so that I have an extra set of eyes. Although he's fantastic at picking it out. So that's my moment in chalk, and that has taken up a lot of my stitching time this week because I just got very motivated to get it done. This, I think we're going to call 2025 the year of Nicole finishes some things. Things I've had in my stash. Like, I literally want to just go pull projects from in my bags in my closet and just finish it. Just sit down, stitch that one, go on to the next. I love starting, obviously, but it's been very motivating to see some of these things get finished. The only other thing that I worked on, and I worked on this before I decided to go all in on a moment in chalk because I really thought I could have it finished this week, is Coco's Garden by Teresa Kogut. And I did do a little work on that. I am going to work on it this week. So let me show you. I did not get a whole lot more done on this guy. Let me zoom back in. Now that we don't have that giant thing, let's just zoom back in so we can see what we're talking about. I did stitch, I think since I was here last, I stitched all the way over here to see how wide it would be. I started the little border. It's going to be this little part down here. Started the little part of the wagon. I didn't do a ton on this. I really didn't. Maybe a few letters before I switched over to my moment in chalk piece. I am stitching this on 40 Count Sleeping Bear by Needle and Flax. Yes, using my own Color and Cotton Color Conversion, which is down in the description below. So check that out if you're interested at all what colors I'm using. Subject to change since I did do a full color conversion, although any of the colors I've used already are staying put because I do love them. It's very pastel-y, very, very cute. I love Teresa's bunnies. Teresa does just amazing bunnies. So I'm really, really loving him. And my goal, I would love to have or count this as a finish before Easter, or at least in April. So my goal is to have it finished in April. No promises. Now, I have gotten a couple of requests to please share a finishing tutorial for this. I know that, I'm sure it says right here on the back. In the book, Teresa tells you where to go. It's teresakogut.com/coco-finishing, and it tells you how to finish. I will see. I don't want to promise that because if I don't get this finished and I don't feel like stitching any more spring this year, I don't want you to be super disappointed. So it's not a stitch along, or it's not even a finish I came up with. I do plan to make it into the basket. I do. But I don't want anyone to be super disappointed if I don't get it done, because I'm really being very lax and lenient on myself as far as no hard deadlines. I have enough hard deadlines in my life going on right now that I don't need any other hard deadlines. So I'm just, like I said, as soon as I'm probably going to work on this until the rest of my chalk floss comes, and then I'm going to finish that. But I'm going to try to get as much of this done as possible, and I am loving stitching on it. So yes, my goal is to get it done sometime here in April. I can't promise before Easter because I only have a few days and I'm actually going out of town. So let's do a little talk about that next. Later, me popping in with one more whip that when I went to pick out my Easter stitch for this year, I was like, oh, whoops. I didn't even iron this for you. So I do have one more new start whip going on. Tara Sullivan of Sully's Stitches celebrated a big birthday last Sunday, I believe, the 6th. And she started for her birthday a daily reminder by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. This was her favorite market release from Market 2025. And I did start stitching it, but then I moved over to my Moment in Chalk. So I don't have a ton of this. I'm stitching on the called for 36 count Arboreal by Cedar River linens. And I am using all of the called for floss. And I have the saddest little house start here, but I did want to show it to you guys because I did do a little bit of work. I just didn't do a ton because I got, squirreled over onto finishing something. But it's gorgeous. I love it. I'm loving stitching on it. I love stitching on this fabric. Do not be afraid of this fabric. Again, this is 36 count Arboreal by Cedar River linens, and it has been delightful to stitch on. So I will say that. But that is my only other little whip here going on, and I want to get back to this when my big project is all finished. I am going to be at Quilter Station in Kansas City Thursday evening through Saturday evening. Yes, I know it's Easter weekend coming up. We're actually having a very lax Easter this year. One of my kids does not live where we live anymore. She and her husband live in Colorado, and my oldest is going to visit them for Easter. And that's totally cool. They couldn't come home, and he isn't necessarily going because it's Easter. He's going because he wants to get out of town and have a vacation. And they're going to go do some fun things. And I love that they're getting to spend time together. So it's really just Ethan and I, but I am going to Quilter Station. I decided that since they're going to be gone, my friend Pam asked me if I wanted to go. And I said, yes, I'm super excited. So Kathy of Hands On Design is going to be there. I told her I'm not a stalker, I promise. So it's Kathy and Beth of Summerhouse Stitchworks, Linda of Erica Michaels, and Lois of Lady Dot Creates. So I'm super excited for 2 days of classes and just to spend a couple of days doing fun things, really. Very, very excited to go partake in that. Then obviously come home, have Easter, and then not even 2 weeks later, going to Michigan to Chantal's 141 Design, where I am going to be teaching some finishing, and I am so excited. You guys I can't even tell you how excited I am to share or to show you what I have for you guys. So, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then I'm coming home for a few weeks, not even like I say a few, but like 3, maybe. And then I am going to Amana. So I feel like my travel card, my little travel passport, it's not really a passport, I'm not going out of the country, is full. And then I think I'm going to stay home for the summer. I really do. I'm going to try to get together with a couple of friends. We'd like to do like a quilting weekend, so I would love to do that. But holy cow. I mean, I just feel like this year is flying by. Anyhow, if you're coming to Quilter Station or Amana, let me know. I would love to hear. Oh, and Brenda Gervais is the designer in Amana. So I'm super excited. I feel like there's lots of fun things coming up and can't wait. Now, I also signed up for the Spring Mingle. Yes, it's the same weekend that I'll be in Michigan. But you guys, even if you have something else planned for that first weekend in May, Spring Mingle is a virtual retreat by Lindy Stitches. Kathy of Hands On Design is teaching an amazing class. I'm going to pop in, actually I'll pop it in this way, pop in a photo right here of her project. I am doing a full color conversion, I think with color and cotton, and I haven't quite nailed that down. That's my plan, and probably it's going to be in the newsletter before I talk about it in my next video. But I am going to share with you guys all of the things on that, and I'm going to get mine stitched so that when I get home from my weekend teaching, I can watch the replay. You have 30 days to watch the replay. So even if you can't take it live, or you can't partake in the Spring Mingle Live, which is kind of a slightly scaled down version of the Jingle Ball, there will be a little bit of shopping. So it's a little bit more than the Startathon, but a little bit less than Jingle Ball. Even if you can't attend live, you can still watch the class later. So I encourage you to take it because I think the finish is going to be amazing. I am going to stitch it, and my goal is to have it all stitched so I can just finish it up like right away. I know I've heard from a couple of you who are coming to spring break at Chantal's 141 that you're also signed up for Spring Mingle and that you're probably going to be ducking out here and there to watch Kathy's class. And that is awesome. We are all about cross stitch all weekend long. So that's a little bit of what I have coming up and all of that good stuff. Let me tell you what I'm going to start for Easter this year. Okay, my Easter start this year is going to be Still My Heart Hydrangea Kit from Samplers Not Forgotten. It is a full kit, so everything I need is in here. And I just love Sandy of Whispered Stitches. She already has hers all stitched. I've actually seen so many of you stitch this. I think Tara of Sully Stitches also has like a good portion of this stitched. It's maybe all done by now. I've seen a lot of people stitching this, and so I am going to start this on Easter this year. I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be super fun. Plus, this was one of my market picks, so I love being able to not only have an Easter start, I love starting something on holidays or special occasions, but I love being able to incorporate some of those Nashville purchases that I made and my like top 10 into starts so that we can get some of those pieces finished. The other thing upcoming that I do want to mention to everyone is there will be a social media post going up this week. I know Holly mentioned it. I've mentioned it in past videos. Holly, Mrs. Jones Stitches, pardon, on Instagram and YouTube and all those things. But Holly and I want to do a stitch along of the Mary Bovee sampler by Stacy Nash. I've showed, and I'm going to just keep popping it in here because the chart just doesn't do it justice. We saw the model stitched at the Silver Needle in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's gorgeous, and so we are both going to stitch this. Now, I do want to talk about a couple things for this. Again, don't look at the cover. I think it's just the printing version of this because it's stitched on Murky. This is not what Murky looks like. There's something about when this was photographed, I think that it just kind of blew out the colors. Murky is actually a very good option. So let's talk about fabric first. The model was stitched on 32 count. Picture this plus Murky linen. Murky also comes in Lugana, I believe, and Ada, both. I know it comes in Ada. So Murky is a really, really good option if you want more of that mottled look. And even, I am not sure what fabric they use for the model at the Silver Needle. I may email and ask them. But that's a really good option. I am choosing to use, well, let me flip this around. I am choosing to use Dark Soil 36 count by XJU. And this was was a color that was used in quite a few different market releases. It kind of has a brownish undertone to it. Teresa Vinette of Shakespeare's Peddler used it in some things and whatnot. And I did get it in 36 and 40. The project for hers was a called for 40, so that was what I'm using there. But I love this. I'm going to use the called for Gentle Arts threads. So this is what I'm going to use for mine. Now, I say that if you have been discouraged because finding XJU fabric is like it's been out of stock, and she is based in Hungary, I believe, and she has an Etsy shop. I reached out to her this last week and I told her that Holly and I were doing a stitch along, and will she have different counts of her fabric in Dark Soil available? And she said, yes, you can, if it is not showing up in her Etsy shop, which I will link to down below, you can message her. She is wonderful communicating. She gets right back to you and she will get that. I say this now because we are planning to start this when I get back from Michigan. So not that first weekend in May, that's the spring mingle, all of that good stuff. It will be that following week. We will give you an exact date coming up. So get it ordered now, if at all possible. You can get it in any count you want if you want Dark Soil. Now, you don't have to use Dark Soil. You can stitch this on whatever you want. Holly is going to do, I'm pretty sure, a full color and cotton conversion, and she's working on that. We'll share that with you here soon, probably this next week. And you can pick up those flosses from Color and Cotton if you want it, because Holly is a genius at color and cotton conversions. But there are lots of dark fabrics out there. If you want to do it on dark, you could also do it on a neutral, and I think it would be amazing. So you do you. And this is just something we're doing for fun. This is not going to be my typical Sal where we have like the weekly videos. I'm not promising. I may try to pop in. We shall see as we're doing the Sal. Maybe we could even try to do something where Holly and I just pop in for an evening live where we just chat with you guys a little bit and kind of just encourage. But we will be doing we'll share lots of posts. I definitely will have information about it in my newsletter and in my Facebook group, and we'll talk about it, both of us, on our Flosstube videos. So if you want to join in, please do. Step Up Lindy's Stitches has got the physical copies of Mary Bovee Sampler in her shop. I will link that down below. And if you are international or you like to stitch from an iPad, Stacy offers the PDF version of this in her Etsy shop, and I will link that for you down below as well. So things I'll have linked for you. Steph of Lindy's Stitches for the physical chart, Stacy Nash for the PDF, and the XJU Designs Etsy shop for dark soil or any other beautiful fabric from XJU. I love XJU. Old linen. I'm going to pop it in right here. I stitched the Hello from Liz Matthews Jingle Ball 2024 project. No, 2023. This is 2025, so no. 2023 project, class project on the old linen from XJU. If you're looking for a dark neutral, and it's like one of my favorites, I loved stitching on it. So I think if you're looking for a neutral, if you don't like stitching on black, that would be fantastic. There's also lots and lots of other neutrals. So just have fun with it. Pick something that you like. And it is a, I believe it's Aida or linen friendly, or Lugana, obviously. So let me just double check that. I say that, but I really don't want to like lead you astray. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing about this that says that there's any specialty stitches, and this is a 2016 chart. How funny is that? So was A Moment in Chalk. But the model, is beautiful, and so I'm super excited about that. So that is upcoming. Okay, a little Enable Vision and Stitchy kindness. I only have a tiny bit of Enable Vision this week. My last project folio from Rika House of Stitch and Stash came. So beautiful. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Rika. Definitely follow Rika. I will tag her down below. I think she's going to have some in her shop periodically, but don't quote me on that. Then my 2 new linens, club linens from Color and Cotton just came. I am part of both the neutral and the color clubs every month. So Coconut was the neutral, which is a really great, very, very light neutral color. If you guys have been here for a while, you know that I'm not a huge fan of white fabric. I think this might even be a nice alternative. I like white tea from Color and Cotton as well, but I think this would be amazing. And then the color this month is Spring Skies, and this definitely is Spring Skies. This is beautiful too. So those are the 2 fabrics, and I get 36 count in both. I'll add those to my stash. Also, I forgot to show this last week because, full disclosure, this actually came from Fat Quarter Shop. It's their Henny Penny Needle Minder, and it slipped into a box of my card making stuff. When I took it out of the package, this must have just slipped down. And when I was organizing that stuff this week, I came across this. I love needle minders. I have a whole display of them, and I'm going to add this one to my wall. Love, love, love this. Stitchy kindness. I have some lovely viewers who sent some super sweet things. So let's talk about that. So Amy sent tons and tons of charts to share with you guys. I mean, so many. So these are all going to be upcoming giveaways. Thank you so much, Amy. So generous. And I so appreciate anytime you guys send things like that. If there's things you don't want, thank you so much. Then Martha sent me a beautiful thank you card. And she also sent a super sweet note and some money to help cover shipping costs for giveaways, and I appreciate that. So Martha, thank you. Look at how pretty this is. I just love this going on right here. So cool. Thank you, Martha. Nora from across the pond sent me, and it was packaged really cute, but I'm going to be honest, I ripped right into this, so it's not quite as cute now. She sent me a wonderful card this adorable little sticker. And then she sent me this adorable pin. Again, I'm going to add this and Henny Penny to my hoops on my wall that are just part of my craft room decor. So cute. I love, love, love that little raccoon. And then it was, I should show. It was packaged super cute with a ribbon around it. You guys, this is the cutest. Let me get it pulled out of here. Look at this. Is this not the cutest ornament? I love, love, love it. Nora, thank you. I squealed. I literally squealed when I opened this. I just thought it was the cutest. These are like its little legs. I just love it. Love, love, love. This is going to be displayed all the time here in my craft room. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Love it. Okay, let me make sure. I don't want that to get broken, so let me just tuck that back for just now. I always keep things together until I get my thank yous all out. So give me a moment, because one time I got things all mixed up, and so I've learned my lesson. Okay, and then Arlene had reached out to me after I shared my shopping excursion to the Silver Needle. And I was talking about how they didn't have all of the Brenda Gervais wordplay charts there at the time. They'd sold out of a few of them. She said, I have some, and I would send them to you. So Arlene sent me the months I don't have, which are May, no, it is November, isn't it? Yes, this is my birthday month. And also April, which is this month, and it's probably my favorite. Or one of my favorites. That bunny in the wagon is the cutest thing ever. Oh, maybe this is going to be my Easter start. You guys, I may have just made a game time decision. Okay, I don't know. And then Arlene also sent this, which I love. And this is Cottage Garden Samplings. And that will be a giveaway at some point. And she also sent me just a super sweet note. And Arlene, some things are on their way to you. So thank you so, so much for your kindness in sending me those charts to round out my collection. Okay. Really quick before we talk about giveaway winners and giveaways this week. I want to share that Chantal of 141 Design has some awesome new products in her shop, and I cannot wait to get all of these. So if you are like me and you are loving the animal cracker trend that everyone's so crazy about right now, or you just love little smalls, other stand-ups, Teresa Kogut Santas, imagine that, there is a new Stitch Cubby, and you guys, it is the coolest thing. Super cute, great to stack, create displays. If you watched my last video with my Decorate With Me video, also thank you for all the kind comments on that. You know I love creating vignettes and displays in my home. Fantastic for creating all kinds of wonderful seasonal and just everyday displays. And I think those are amazing, amazing, amazing. Also, brand new from Chantal. And she showed this used for your animal crackers, or you can display all kinds of great things in it, is her Stitch Caddy. And it is this wonderful caddy that, you know, has a little handle on it. Her husband designed it. It's based on reproductions. So you know how reproductions are so popular in cross stitch. This is kind of her reproduction line, and it's all based on like vintage pieces or antique pieces, things like that. So, which is really, really cool. And I love the little caddy of it. I think it would be very cute displayed on end tables, buffets, you know, shelves, whatever. You could use it for holidays. I literally cannot wait for that one. I love that as well. And then her next new or final really new piece, like display piece, is called the Stitch Nook. And again, based on a reproduction, part of her reproduction line. Absolutely incredible. So many things you can do with this as well. I love that you could put like a flat finish on there and then tuck a whole bunch of cute things in. I just think it's amazing. I can't wait to find something to put on that as well. And I know she will also have lots of inspiration for all of those pieces. So stay tuned for that and grab some of those new finishing items if you love to finish your pieces and kind of like that reproduction look without having to go, you know, hunt for all of those antiques. One other thing I do want to mention, and I'm going to put it in here, Chantal has a chart stand, which is incredible. If you're going to a retreat and you want a nice stand to put your charts on, or, you know, your iPad, whatever it might be. And so she is releasing that chart stand now in her shop. And I did want to show that here in case you are interested in picking one of those up. If you've seen them from retreats and you would like one, you can now get them at her shop. Okay, I think that's it for Enable Vision and Stitchy Kindness this week. Giveaway winners and giveaway time. So last week I had 6 giveaways. Wow. So quickly, we're going to go through the giveaway winners. Please email me at this email address if you see your comment or hear your name announced. Make sure that, you know, it's your comment that I show here on the screen, and then email me at that email address. It's also listed down in the description below. And if you could put in the description of your email or the subject, pardon, of your email, what you won, that helps me out a ton. So, first up, we had the Cheerful Quilt Bundle. It was charts and I think this is a 10-inch stacker. The winner of the quilt bundle is Shell Hansen. Congratulations, Shell. Then we have the Cottage Garden Samplings Fabulous House Series charts. The winners of these charts is Martha Robbins. Congratulations, Martha. The winner of the Waterfall Quilt Bundle, which was the Fat Quarter Bundle, chart, and some other bonus patterns. The winner of this is Monica. Monica, if that's you, please email me. Then we have, I have some Ada and some Lori Holt patterns. The winner of this is Sharon Williams. Congratulations, Sharon. The winner of the Sunshine Bag with Pattern is Rhea D. Congratulations, Rhea. And finally, the winner of, I think this is an all-fat quarter bundle. The winner of this bundle and Ada is Jennifer Loves to Create. Congratulations, Jennifer. Again, please email me at this email address if you saw your comment, and make sure you give me your mailing address and I will get those out in the mail to you. So this week I have 4 giveaways. Now, you just need to leave the keyword somewhere in your comment. You can leave all the keywords if you want to. I do use a random comment picker to pick winners. Please do not use the word giveaway. Please be over 18. I do have to ask you for your physical mailing address, and USA only at this time. So let me just keep myself organized with my giveaway bucket. My first giveaway is the Heart and Hand Blooming Tiny Town. I've got to finish getting mine stitched. I love this chart. And I believe it's probably just going to be the chart only, not the buttons that go with it. Blooming Tiny Town. And also Primrose Cottage Hello Spring, a wonderful spring bundle. If you are interested in these charts, use the word spring somewhere in your comment. Next, I have two Primrose Cottage charts, the July 4th, 1776 house and the summer house, both perfect for patriotic smalls. If you're interested in these, use summer somewhere in your comment. Next up, I have a Primrose Cottage honey stitching bundle. We have Honey Bee Quilt, Bumblebee Kisses, and the August 9 patch. All perfectly coordinated, great little smalls. If you would like this bundle, use B somewhere in your comment. And finally, I have another bee lot for you guys. We have a Honey of a Tiny Town from Heart and Hand. We also have the Honey of a Frill that goes with it. And then this wonderful little Love Bees chart. If you would like this bundle, use honey somewhere in your comment. Good luck to all of you. Make sure, again, USA only, and that you leave the keywords somewhere in your comment so that I can pick from using the random comment picker. Okay, friends, I think that is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me for another Stitching with Nichol episode. I will be back next week. I will be pre-recording it and sharing some fun things in there. I have a couple of sewing things, plus I'm going to share what I am taking for teacher gifts for the Quilters Station retreat, as well as a friend gift that I made. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, have a wonderful week. I hope all your Easter preparations are going well. Your Easter stitching is still, and spring stitching is still going strong. And happy stitching, everyone. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new Flosstube stitching or quilting video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Frank is whining. I'm going to go see what he needs, and I'll be right back. You may find your new best stitch, or your new bestie, stitching bestie. Wow, I wanted to get October House 5. May or November.